went into your eye?
Yes, Your
This
Honor.
was sticking in your head?
That was what the surgeon pulled out of my skull.
That's your head, Miss McGuire?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, what do you call this kind of nail?
Well, it's a galvanized nail.
Okay, it's an industrial nail, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So you had an industrial nail sticking in your head while you're trying to make a call?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe it was shock. So I was able to call 911. And I actually did bring a recording of that tape.
Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files, where we react to the creepiest, craziest, scariest TikToks that you shouldn't watch alone. Hope you're having a good day. But before we go any further, let's take a second and hit that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, just to make sure the algorithm knows what's up. So let's run these numbers up. Let's get straight to it. First off, I want to say those videos are some of the hardest videos to watch. At the same time, I feel like calling cap because they did look like beans. I was seeing like red beans, regular white beans. But what if they are ticks? Like, supposedly that's what they're supposed to be. I don't know if they're digging in something, coming out with their hand covered in them, or if it's some kind of sacred religion kind of thing. I don't know. What y'all think about that? Leave a comment down below.
Yuk, yuk.
If your friends are laughing at you, and you got something like that on your back, you need some new friends.
Went into your eye?
Yes, Your
This
Honor.
was sticking in your head?
That was what the surgeon pulled out of my skull.
That's your head, Miss McGuire?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, what do you call this kind of nail?
Well, it's a galvanized nail.
Okay, it's an industrial nail, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So you had an industrial nail sticking in your head while you're trying to make a call?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe it was shock. So I was able to call 911. And I actually did bring a recording of that tape, Your Honor.
Well, let's hear that. You've submitted it to the court. Let's hear the 911 call.
911, what's your emergency?
I have terrible pain. Please help. It's in my head. It hurts so bad. Please help. I can't move.
Hello? Ma'am, I'm still here. What's your address? Ma'am, you said you have something in your head? Hello? Hello?
So when this cuts off, what happens?
I blacked out. Apparently, there was blood everywhere.
Miss McGuire, is that your blood?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Brooks, tell me how you knew something bad had gone on.
Well, Your Honor, basically I pulled up and saw Miss McGuire going into her home, and I yelled out to her, and she continued to go into the entrance of her home. And so she looked like she was in a bit of a hurry. I imagine that maybe she had to use the bathroom or something like that. So
Okay.
I pulled in, gathered my notes, grabbed my folder, and I went in to meet her upstairs to the top of the entrance. And when I got up there and went through the plastic draping,
What did you see?
That's when I saw. That's when I saw Mrs. McGuire laying in a pool of blood. And
So she's lying on the floor.
She's laying there.
She's got a nail in her head. She's passed out and her blood's all over the floor.
Well, Your Honor, I don't know what's in her head. I just see her laying in a pool of blood. And it just shocked me because she just came in.
This had
4 or
to
5
freak you
minutes
out,
ago.
too.
Yes,
This had
sir.
to
I
freak
was
you out,
shocked.
too.
I didn't know. I mean, so I grabbed my phone and I called 911.
Did you know what had happened at that point?
I had no idea what had happened. I'm trying to figure out. She just walked in the house.
But you called 911.
I called 911, sir.
Now, Mr. Brooks, you see this is pretty bad stuff. This is a bad injury, right?
Oh, yes, sir. I empathize with her.
And it was your nail gun,
Yes, sir. It was my.
your nail,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
her injury.
Absolutely. Your Honor.
But you tell me today it's not your fault. Tell me why.
Now that's scary. And I wish that lady a full, speedy recovery. But can you just imagine you getting your house renovated and the contractor just leaves his tools around? Something like that happen? That's scary. It's a creepy thought. It was pretty creepy. I'm calling Cap. And if you look at the time on the video, it's 000000. Right? What camera does that? I know VHS cassettes get glitchy, supposedly with paranormal effects or in its environment. But that one, I don't know. What y'all think? Leave me a comment down below. Yeah, I thought it was Cap at first. Until that lightning hit and you was able to see the sky and the clouds and shit. And a little thing sticking up in the corner over there. But yo, that noise, that shit was crazy. It sounded like two ships grinding, right? Or I don't know if you heard a ship pulling into a dock. When a ship pulls into the dock, it just makes this annoying, creaky, horrible Godzilla sounding noise. But shit, when that shit coming from the sky, that's some creepy shit.
Cassidy! Cassidy! Guys! Guys! Guys, there's someone in here! Ray! Help me, guys! Guys, please come in here! Help me! I'm sorry. Please, don't, please.
It totally had me. That break looked real, right? Then we knew it had to have a jump scare. There was a jump scare somewhere. Hey, if you know what scene that's from, leave a comment down below.
This is scary. In 2013, a group of 4 tourists discovered a secret military base. While they were visiting Hoover Dam, one of the group tripped over a fake cover and the cover slipped away, and the tourists got in the cover and found a secret military base. The military base was completely abandoned, but every PC was running and hundreds of documents were lying on the floor. When the 2 of the group escaped the ladder, they used to escape, completely broke up. So that meant that the rest of the group was trapped there without any food or water. When the ones that escaped tried to alert someone to help them, everyone told them that there is no secret base and they are just joking. While the rest of the group was looking for more entrances, they bumped into an old switch. When they flipped the switch, big doors opened and they saw a big UFO and tens of scientists researching more about this UFO. Fortunately, no one saw them and they got out when they talked to the government. The government denied everything. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments. But none of this can be proven. The photos of the UFO are mind-blowing.
Yeah, it sounded like a whole lot of cap to me. Yeah, when they hit that switch and all these doors opened up, sounded like some real Men in Black shit, you know?
Que foi, moço? Que foi?
Ai, vê se você consegue ver aqui. Eu tava ali mexendo, sou colhedor de mel.
Nossa.
Ele veio uma picadura de abelha que tá ardendo.
Chame de abelha na sua cara.
Ai.
Olha, tá doendo aqui?
É perigoso?
Perigoso, muito perigoso.
Você vai levar pra Santa Casa? Ai.
Santa Casa urgente.
Meu rosto
urgente.
pode inchar mais?
Nossa.
Eu tô sentindo que a abelha tá
rapaz.
entrando. Ai, caraca, velho. Cada entrada uma ferrada.
Tá sentindo aqui? Olha,
tô
tô vendo elas ali.
O ferrão da abelha tá entrando. Ai, caraca, velho. Tira de mim.
Calma.
Ai, deu problema.
Calma. Calma.
Ai. Nossa, tá ardendo aqui, ó.
Calma, moço, calma, você não pode fazer isso.
Senhora,
Calma.
viu? Caraca, hein? Ai, tá ardendo aqui, ó.
Sem movimento. Calma, calma. Olha, tá
do
bem
nada.
inchado aqui, ó. Olha, ela pegou de verdade aqui.
Ai, ai, viu?
Deu uma picadura bem...
Ai.
My man got swelling on his face. Like, oh my goodness. Like, what is this?
The Earth might be bigger than we thought. For years, people have debated over the shape of the Earth, if it is round or flat. But what if the Earth had more than just 7 continents, and Antarctica is a giant ice wall that kept us from seeing the rest of the continents? What if, once you made it past the ice wall, you'll find 20 other continents that are hidden from us? And what if there was a map that showed this? There are theories that these continents contain prehistoric animals, aliens, and advanced civilizations, and that the 7 continents that we are living in is actually a giant farm or business owned by a small handful of families that make up the filthy rich past the ice wall. That is why.
Could you imagine Earth having 20 more continents than it does now? That'll make this a really big place.
So if you never heard of Project Bluebeam, it's a project between NASA and the United Nations where they would use advanced technologies to project images in the sky around the world. Now, according to the theory, they want to create a second coming of Jesus or whatever deity is popular in that region of the world. They're planning to stage a fake alien invasion, as well as putting different idols in the sky and merging them as one god for the masses to worship. Now, this is all part of the New World Order to abolish all traditional religions and replace them with one world religion, therefore making it easier to control the masses. And here's an example of that technology.
That was very impressive. Makes me wonder what concert that was. Cause that looked trippy as hell. Could you imagine being there? If you know what concert that was, leave a comment down below. Let me know.
I guarantee it. I've seen it so many times. It makes too much fucking sense. Trust me on this. First of all, I need you to understand, get it through your heads. Project Bluebeam is not a projection of an alien or Jesus Christ coming back. That is not what it is. The name states it itself. It is a beam that is blue. It is projecting your sky. It is not projecting anything else but that sky. If that beam goes down, you're going to finally see what the hell is behind it, okay? You're going to see the giant space station. You're going to see all the workings up there that have been hidden by that damn beam, okay? That is the projection that you need to be worried about. This calm, peaceful sky that was only filled with airplanes that you thought was there is not there. So why people are saying that aliens are going to be involved in Project Bluebeam is because it is an alien attack that breaks the projection of the sky. It is, but it's one faction attacking us, and then we're going to be protected by another faction. So, the crazy thing about it is there's something biblical that happens. Think back to when it says in the Bible that after God flooded the world, he gave us a rainbow to promise that he would never do that again. After those aliens attack and the other ones come and fight them, they literally put a giant aurora borealis in the sky that is rainbow colored. It's not just the green part. You see the entirety of it. And then the fucking sky goes back to normal. Call me a liar if you want to. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I've seen it so many times. It makes too much fucking sense.
Yeah, that's the first. Haven't heard that theory yet. But I wonder where she heard it from. Oh, no. I wonder how she's seen it. Right? That's a pretty fly filter she got in the background, too.
Project Bluebeam. By far the scariest years we may see. This conspiracy achieved its status in 1994 by a book that was written by Serge Monast. In the book, the writer describes how the United Nations, in collaboration with NASA's technology, will unite the whole world under a new false religion. But how? There will be, supposedly, an alien invasion, which is all part of the whole show, of course. And one day, a hero, a god, will come from the skies and destroy these aliens. And us, human beings, we will not believe our own eyes and start to worship this god. Whatever this god orders will happen. One world order. This is called the Project Bluebeam. Now, I don't believe that they have the technology that is capable of deceiving us yet. But in the near future, they might very well be able to make them. If you are a Muslim or a Christian, this whole show must ring a bell. This is the person we have been warned about more than 1,000 years ago. If this happens, this is the Dajjal, the Antichrist. Be prepared.
It's interesting. Jeremy, I want to talk to you for a second. The Pentagon's UFO chief, this is a Pentagon guy, a UFO chief, the chairman of Harvard's astronomy department as well, both releasing a report on Tuesday where they wrote an artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth. You've got the Pentagon talking about the idea of a mothership going above us and sending probes down.
See, I didn't even know the Pentagon had a UFO chief. I didn't know there was no UFO chief.
Have y'all heard of this, Project Bluebeam? Well, I just did some research, last night at midnight, which is just the best time to start digging into stuff. I was up for a couple of hours digging into this, and let me show you what I found. Let's read this together, shall we? Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory about a supposed project whose purpose is to create an artificial second coming. In order to control people. As per the alleged theory, the New World Order's purpose is 1. To abolish all Christian and traditional religions in order to replace them with a one world religion based on the cult of man. We see that in Christlism, whatever. To abolish all national identities and national pride in order to establish a world identity and world pride. To abolish the family as known today, in order to replace them with individuals all working for the glory of the new world government. Apparently, the world's government's investigations into the limits of visual manipulation did not stop there. According to the Project Bluebeam theory, NASA and the United Nations then began developing technology that would be able to project images into the sky over the entire Earth. The technology allegedly involved using satellites orbiting the Earth to project an image that could be seen by an entire nation or even the entire world. What was the purpose of this technology? To create a technologically simulated second coming of Christ and convince the world of the veracity of Christianity. According to the theory, once the world was united under a single religion, the New World Order would be able to more easily manipulate the minds of the people and replace the governments of the world with a single fierce dictatorship. And who was set to sit on the head of this global new dictatorship? The Antichrist, of course. This stuff is not even hidden anymore. I mean, it's out there, just right in front of our eyes. And it breaks my heart knowing that there are going to be so many people deceived. And the Bible talks about this in multiple places, that in the end times there will be many that are deceived, that possibly even the elect, meaning even believers might be deceived. So just take this as a warning. Be very, very discerning. Very discerning. Ask God for wisdom and discernment and test every spirit. Don't believe everything that you see.
One thing's for sure. Things are definitely not hidden like they used to be. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.
The government said to us. So this to me, that this guy came out in 1994 and said, nope, there is a Project Bluebeam taking place. NASA is involved with the help of the United Nations. I would have thought this man was crazy if I was old enough to consider this. I would have thought he was out of his mind. So what's interesting about this, though, is that he publishes that book in 1994. And then the following years, in 1995 and 1996, he starts saying that he's being hunted by the police and the authorities for his involvement in networks of prohibited information. Now, that also sounds crazy. Oh, they're after me now because I published Project Bluebeam. He sounds like a total nut job. That sounds insane. Except for the fact that the state then took his children in September of 1996, claiming that his children being homeschooled was just a bad thing and that they weren't receiving the education that they deserved. They made his children wards of the state. They took his children so that they would receive a public education. So that's odd. Why would you take children because they're being homeschooled and make them wards of the state so that they can receive a public education? Well, it's going to get a little odder. He then died of a heart attack in his home in December of 1996 at the age of 51, just one day after being arrested and spending a night in jail. So they arrested him, something pertaining to his children not being in school, and then a day later he died. So obviously you can see that a ton of conspiracy theories regarding his death exist. That's weird. It's weird enough for people to then start listening to maybe some things that he was saying. So Serge Manas said that step one of Project Bluebeam was going to involve the manufacturing of artificially created earthquakes in strategic locations around the world. Again, to make it clear, he is stating in 1994 that the governments were in possession of technology that was going to be able to make this happen. Can the government cause earthquakes? I don't really know about that. Again, I'm just telling you what he said. These earthquakes, according to him, were going to unearth ancient artifacts, indicating that the religious doctrines of all nations have been misunderstood for centuries, thus discrediting all religions. The second step, he says, was going to involve a giant show from space. Essentially, they were going to use three-dimensional optical holograms that were going to project holographic images to beam across the sky, and that these images were going to include projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, and it was all going to merge into one. Essentially, they were going to be able to accomplish this by using space-based satellites, and it was going to make the entire sky transform into a massive movie screen. Do they have the technology to do that at NASA? I don't know. NASA really is just sort of a black budget, in my opinion. I have no idea what NASA does. I don't know why they're getting trillions and trillions of taxpayer dollars. I don't know what NASA does. Call me an idiot, but they have an incredible budget for seemingly nothing, in my opinion. The third step is even more far-fetched. He says that this is going to involve artificial intelligence. Again, I just like to state this over and over again. He was saying this in 1994. Artificial intelligence that was going to be able to use mind control to reach people inside of their minds. And this was going to involve rays from satellites that are being fed memories from our computers that have stored massive data about every single human being on Earth. And finally, the fourth step of Project Bluebeam was going to use various technologies in order to convince people that alien invasions were taking place, alien invasions, and even the rapture itself, thus making it easier for governments and the powers that be to take control of a fear-addled population. The NASA Bluebeam project is the prime directive for the New World Order's absolute control over the populations of the entire Earth.
Well, she said a mouthful. I didn't even know there was a book. If any of you ever read that book, leave a comment down below.
Why do you think that is? I mean, why is that? I mean, is it just because people are lazy today or they're bored? I mean, are we just like bored, spoiled children who've just been lying in the bathtub all day, just playing with their plastic duck, and now they're just thinking, well, what can I do?
Okay, yes, we are bored. We're all bored now. But has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money, and that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks, and it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's asleep will not say no? See, I keep meeting these people. I mean, just a few days ago, I met this man who I greatly admire. He's a Swedish physicist, Gustav Bjornstrand, and he told me that he no longer watches television, he doesn't read newspapers, and he doesn't read magazines. He's completely cut them out of his life because he really does feel that we're living in some kind of Orwellian nightmare now, and that everything that you hear now contributes to turning you into a robot. When I was at Findhorn, I met this extraordinary English tree expert who had devoted his life to saving trees. Just got back from Washington, lobbying to save the redwoods. He's 84 years old. He always travels with a backpack because he never knows where he's going to be tomorrow. And when I met him at Findhorn, he said to me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "New York." He said, "New York, yes, that's a very interesting place. Do you know a lot of New Yorkers who keep talking about the fact that they want to leave but never do?" And I said, "Oh, yes." And he said, "Why do you think they don't leave?" I gave him different banal theories. He said, "Oh, I don't think it's that way at all." He said, "I think that New York is the new model for the new concentration camp, where the camp has been built by the inmates themselves, and the inmates are the guards, and they have this pride in this thing they've built. They've built their own prison, and so they exist in a state of schizophrenia, where they are both guards and prisoners, and as a result, they no longer have, having been lobotomized, the capacity to leave the prison they've made, or to even see it as a prison." And then he went into his pocket and he took out a seed for a tree and he said, "This is a pine tree." He put it in my hand and he said, "Escape before it's too late." See, actually for 2 or 3 years now, Chiquita and I have had this very unpleasant feeling that we really should get out. And we really should feel like Jews in Germany in the late 30s. Get out of here. Of course, the problem is where to go, because it seems quite obvious that the whole world is going in the same direction. See, I think it's quite possible that the 1960s represented the last burst of the human being before he was extinguished, and that this is the beginning of the rest of the future now, and that from now on there'll simply be all these robots walking around, feeling nothing, thinking nothing, and there'll be nobody left almost to remind them that there once was a species called a human being, with feelings and thoughts, and that history and memory are right now being erased, and soon nobody will really remember that life existed on the planet.
He read his part, memorized it, and did his thing. Do you think it resonated with what's going on today? Let me know in the comments down below.
Now the grand finale. This is some scary shit. In 1986, while stationed at an underground installation near Boulder, Colorado, I was introduced to Project Skybeam by Lieutenant General Andrew Garris. I was then led down a corridor and into a large hangar where a stealth bomber hovered only 20 feet above me. I stood there confused. Then Garris looked over at me and smiled, then asked if I was certain of what I was seeing. I replied, "Of course. What else could it be?" I was then shocked to find out that this wasn't a real craft. It was a projected hologram. Since the early 1950s, scientists have been developing holographic technology, and over the years improved it to a state that we can only imagine. As I stood there staring at the bomber, which looked so absolutely real and solid that I could reach up and touch it, I contemplated the possibilities. What if this projection was 1,000 feet up in the sky? How would anyone know that that was an illusion? The Phoenix Lights craft, witnessed by 10,000 people, was the first grand-scale skybeam test upon the public. It succeeded beyond expectations. In October 1938, Orson Welles unleashed his War of the Worlds radio broadcast to the American public. It was so realistically portrayed vast portions of the population went into panic. Terrified citizens scrambled to evacuate their cities in droves. America had been easily tricked by very simple means. To amplify this response, those who are truly in power of not only our country, but all the countries on the planet, and who are the true purveyors of the depopulation process, have formulated the final stage of their sinister plan. In the year 2024, a global event will alter the course of mankind's future. The world will stand witness to a massive alien invasion. Thousands of projected holographic alien warships will blanket the skies, sending people into a global panic. Real military crafts within the holograms will inflict actual damage to the surrounding areas to sell the gimmick. And as a result of the ensuing human chaos, a one-world government will immediately form without any resistance from the people. They will be the new world order. Once this happens, we as a people will be doomed to enslavement and accelerated depopulation. With that said, the only hope for human salvation is to acquire and spread the knowledge of these activities and agendas. Resist, retaliate, then conquer this imposing enemy. The time is now, as humanity is rapidly approaching its final days.
Yeah, I know I got some Cena fans out there. You heard the man. The time is now. Yeah. But for real, this stuff is kind of deeper than I thought it'd be. I feel like I'm going down this rabbit hole with y'all. So, hope y'all enjoying the ride. If you guys are still there, let me know in the comment down below. Have you ever heard of this project? Let me know. I want to say it's Cap. I really do. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. That's crazy. If you was at that concert, let me know down below. What concert was that? That was trippy as fuck. Project or not. Yo. That was impressive. I would've lost my wig, definitely.
Okay, if you're not fully awake, then just keep scrolling. This is for my people that are fully awake. People that aren't gonna call me crazy. You know, they just get it. So with everything that we know with CGI and Project Blue Beam, they can fake basically anything, you guys, in the skies, right? So if they fake the second coming of Jesus Christ, and everybody who is a believer just like bows down to this authority that they've seen in the sky, it kind of freaked me out thinking about this. Not gonna lie. So I just had a moment. You all are my family, so I needed to say, like, that kind of freaks me out because it does give people a righteous and humble reason to bow down to the authorities, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't even know. I'm speechless right now.
Real talk. That's what family's for. And dealing with this stuff, sometimes it can get a little overwhelming, trust me. This goes for y'all, anybody who comes across this video. If you ever need to let it out, because you're freaking out, leave a comment down below. It's all good. That's what family's for. The React Files. We're all entitled to our own reaction.
They used lighthouses before to do the same thing.
It will focus the sun's beam in a deadly ray.
A lighthouse. There we go. Watch out for the blue tree. Why is that tree wrapped in
I'd
blue?
like to thank the good people at Tianjin
Why?
Smelting and Mining and Donuts and Tops for neutralizing our wonderful, deadly new lard lead. Yeah, that's great. They'll grow back. The time for mourning and blaming our mayors has passed. We will
What's that blue
rebuild.
thing?
We will.
Taking that historic first step and becoming the first man to walk on the moon. Yes, Timmy?
Who shot that?
What?
Who shot that footage?
What do you mean?
Well, if Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, then who's holding the camera?
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Well,
Who's out there with the camera?
No, I know what you're asking. I'm just...
Very fine grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder.
Could have been like a tripod, or... No, it's not.
There's things, but they also think outside the box. Great question. Great question. Let me know what you think down below. Can you answer that question?
Project Blue Beam. China AD hologram.
So a lot of people are convinced that the government is going to fake an alien invasion. Check out this video and then I'll explain. So what's creepy is that there have been a number of UFO sightings lately. Here comes Project Bluebeam. Basically, an investigative journalist discovered that the government alongside NASA was going to use a bunch of tools and AI to fake an alien invasion.
Be careful of what's out there in that kind of public domain. A lot of that is disinformation, because the ones that are the caricature you're talking about are actually man-made ones that are made to look alien and aren't. Those are the ones that are using all kinds of technologies to quote-unquote abduct people. Those aren't being done by extraterrestrials. Those are being done by the fake aliens. And we have a whole dossier on that, going back to the late 50s, early 60s. The Barney Hill, Betty and Barney Hill case everyone's heard about, that was one of our anti-gravs with some good stagecraft, making it look like aliens abducted that couple. Absolutely. Now, why would that happen? Is because there's a certain rogue element that want to create the specter of a threat from outer space. Because really what they want to do, they want to create a global totalitarian superstate where the people are united against some alien threat. And that is the big, super big picture that people need to understand. It's why I would say 90+% of everything out there on this subject is some type of disinformation that's being curated for its what's called psychological warfare value.
Yo, shout out to Dr. Stephen Greer. He's all over the place right now. But yo, he had a good word. Psychological warfare. It's a war in the mind. Yo, check him out. What y'all think about it? Leave a comment down below.
So what the fuck is this? This big ass hologram. And it's for entertainment purposes only. Getting very much Bluebeam vibes here. Yeah. You know, this happened in Japan though. I need y'all to keep your eyes open. Y'all third eye open. I know that y'all are entertained by this big ass hologram at this Japan sporting event. Hooray! So now we know they have the technology. We know what the conspiracy theories are about this such technology. 1 + 1 = 2. Hey, that's all I'm saying. Let me know what y'all think about this big ass hologram in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
Ёбаный в рот!
60 километров в час.
And that's a wrap. We've reached the end of today's rabbit hole. I hope you enjoyed the ride. Before you go, if you haven't already, would you do me a favor and please hit that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, just to make sure this algorithm knows what's up. So what we gonna do? Run these numbers up. It's been a pleasure. Until next time.